Oh, okay. I'm unmuted now. I hit the button and everything. Hi, I'm Dr. Rita Louise, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, and I think we're going to have a good show today. It's been a great day, and I'm in a great mood, a little tired, but in a great mood. But today, we are going to talk about some just very basic principles about healthy living. And really, I have 2 points, because many people think, when you talk about healthy living, you're talking eat organic or vegan or go to the gym and exercise all day long and build muscles and do these things. And many people get overwhelmed, feel overwhelmed, and they just don't do it. They just don't do it. But if you want to live a good and healthy life, if you want to like not have a lot of aches and pains in your body, if you want to increase your stamina, um, if you want to just feel better on a daily basis, extend your longevity, to me, the two most basic things that you need to do is have some kind of a decent diet, and we'll talk about that, and get in some exercise. And I'm going to say every day, but I'm just using that as a generality. And so when most people think of exercising, they think, like I'm going to go to the gym. Oh, I should run 5 miles. I should do all of these things that, may or may not be accomplishable. But I like planting seeds. I like to get things to start, because once things are started, it's much easier to add to and increase or change, versus putting out all of this energy and then quitting. Because when you're talking about creating a different diet or exercising, what you're really doing is you're creating a habit. You're wanting to make lifestyle changes. There are countless people that go on a diet and exercise plan, and they might be really good at it. They might do it for a year. They might lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds, and they think they're doing great. But then they hit their target and they stop, and they go back to their old lifestyle, where they're not really exercising, where they're not really eating good. And then they find they put all the weight back on and they don't understand, because it's not about dieting and exercising. It's about creating a different life and lifestyle for you, something that becomes part of who you are and what you do every day, once a week, a couple of times a week, whatever that means to you. So I'm going to start with the exercise part, because the diet part, I have a lot of notes. Anyway, so to me, the first step in an exercise program, especially if you haven't done anything in a long time, is take it easy. Maybe go for a walk, spend 15 minutes or walking, or create a goal like I'm going to walk a mile, which is about 15, 20 minutes, and have that be your first step. Maybe doing some yoga or some stretching or some calisthenic type exercises. It really doesn't matter what you do. The key is that you're getting in some kind of movement. In addition to getting your blood circulating, it also helps activate your lymphatic system, which is kind of like the waste disposal in your body, and gets that moving. And so your body can start to release toxins and move the bad stuff out. One of the other things about exercise is that it helps the body to release endorphins, which are the feel good hormones in the brain. And so you might be having a bad day and you decide to exercise and then you feel better. And so this is a cheat. And this is something that I did and I have recommended to clients. The walking, obviously, you need to go outside unless you get a treadmill or something like that, which to me is exceptionally boring. But here's a cheat, so if you don't really want to exercise, but you kind of want to incorporate something, so here's a something. So if you watch a regular network broadcast show that has the commercials in them and you don't record it so that you can, fast forward through the commercials, and on the commercial breaks, you stop and you do some kind of exercise. So commercials are 15, 30, and 60 seconds in length. And so maybe you just do one 30-second commercial where you're doing some stretching or maybe doing some sit-ups or, doing something. You are up, you're moving around, you go walk up and down the stairs in your house a couple of times. It really doesn't matter, but you do it for the length of the commercial. And as you keep working on it, maybe you do 2 commercials the next time or 3 commercials till you find you're doing the entire commercial break. TV shows now, if you're doing every break during the television show, have 15 to 20 minutes worth of advertising. So that at the end of a 1-hour show, you have just committed 15 to 20 minutes of exercise into your life. And if you pick the show, so let's say you watch the news, the 6 o'clock news, and during that news broadcast, you get up and you move around and you exercise and you do whatever it is, you will have gotten that day 15 to 20 minutes worth of exercise in. And I'll tell you what, I used to do that. I used to do like a lot of sit-ups and, toning, I'll say toning exercises. And after doing them every day for 6 weeks on this really boring, like black and white TV show, but I liked it, I could start seeing changes in my body where it was just tightening up and changing. So I challenge you, whether you go walking 1 day a week or you go walking 5 days a week, 1 day a week is better than no days a week. 1 commercial is better than no commercials. It's all a matter of going and doing something. Okay. Now let's talk diet. Now diet, making dietary changes can be harder. And it really requires a certain level of mindfulness to be incorporated into our lives. So our bodies are designed to process proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. But today's foods, especially the stuff that you get at the supermarket, the Marie calendars and the lean cuisines and, those prepackaged foods, whether it's a dry food that you're kind of cooking or a frozen food, are loaded with chemicals. And our body is not designed to deal with the chemicals. And actually, and this has been asked of me several times, the increase of gluten intolerance with people, which is the inability to process the gluten that's in wheat products. So, if you hear people talking about having wheat intolerance, it's the gluten in the wheat. But there are many people who believe that wheat has been genetically engineered, and so our body isn't really seeing it as a protein, carbohydrate, or fat. And so it's not dealing with it correctly. And so now people are finding that they have issues eating it. They're almost having like an allergic reaction to it. So as you hear me sitting here talking about diet, you're probably thinking, oh, she's going to want me to go all organic or vegan or vegetarian or, something crazy. And I'm not. I am just suggesting that you change your lifestyle. But I've had a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm going to work on my diet. And they empty their cabinets and they get rid of their potato chips and the cookies and all the good stuff that you might have in your cabinets. And they go hardcore and they're cooking themselves healthy dinners every day. And it lasts for 2 weeks. And they find it overwhelming and too hard. And it's because they went from doing nothing. They went from sitting on their sofa and then running a marathon every day and then wondering why it's really not working for them. And I am more about, let's start simple. Let's start with a thing and move from there. And again, the worst offenders are prepackaged goods. When you go to the supermarket and go up and down the aisles in the food part, not the, pharmacy, soap, shampoo, dog food part, but in the food part, almost everything on those shelves has some kind of chemical in it, minus the rice and beans. That's like the healthy part of the box aisle. And so where the good stuff is, even though it's not organic, and even though it might have pesticides on it, okay, it probably has pesticides on it, is around the edge, your meat case, your dairy case, and your produce case, section. And that's really where we should be getting our foods. Because most of the time we get something and we don't ever think of what's in it. I was teaching a nutrition class years ago, and I put out 3 things. It was a Pepsi, a Snickers bar, and a Nutri-Grain bar. And I asked the class, which is the healthiest? And the majority of the class all picked the Nutri-Grain bar because they were like, well, it's a Nutri-Grain bar. But when you looked at the ingredients, okay, so the Pepsi, lots of sugar. The Nutri-Grain bar had the same amount of sugar percent-wise as the Pepsi, but it also had this whole list of chemicals that were in it. And then the Snickers bar also had a lot of sugar in it, kind of equal to the Pepsi and the Nutri-Grain bar, but not nearly the amount of chemicals. And it had nuts, which was actually, the Snickers bar was the most healthy thing I put up on that table. Not that any of them are healthy, but it was the most healthy thing I put on the table. And so one of the women in this class, this class was just so eye-opening to me. One of the women in the class was like, well, then what do you eat? And I think a lot of people have a problem with that. They don't know what to eat. They're not used to cooking, I guess, and I suggested that you go buy a Betty Crocker cookbook. There are tons of recipes online that are good and healthy. There are some that are like, 30-minute meals, and they're very simple to prepare, but they're made with real food, whole foods. Although I have been seeing this YouTube channel where the woman takes this package of hash browns and then puts some kind of packaged meat on it and cheese, and I just look at it and go, wow, that's like a little chemical salad. It's food, but is it something you really want to put into your body? And so it's better to make some stuff from scratch or read the label and make the determination if that's what you want to do. And a lot of people go, oh my God, it's so hard. I would have to cook every day and and I don't have time. But here's a little tip. And I think this is a great tip. And I know a lot of people who have incorporated this into their life. Now it would be considered meal planning. It wasn't meal planning when I came up with it. But think about foods in advance, when you're sitting here being more healthy and being more mindful about your foods, you really do have to kind of think about what you're going to eat so you can make sure you have those things in your house. But one of the things you can do is to make foods and freeze them. And so the best ones to do that with are meats and grains. And the reality is, those are the ones that take time. The meat in particular takes more time um, than like steaming some broccoli or, taking some frozen vegetables and heating those up, etc. And I know that there are a lot of people who don't want to eat the same food every day, and I totally get that. But there's a lot of things you can do. So let's say today's Sunday and I want to make some chicken. So instead of making two little pieces of chicken, make the whole pack of chicken, make the whole chicken, make a lot of chicken. And then you can take it and individually wrap portions of that chicken and then put it in a freezer bag, a big freezer bag, because they're wrapped and they won't stick together, and throw it in your freezer. You can do the same thing with like meatloaf. You can pre-cook it, maybe have it for dinner one night, and then take slices and put them in your freezer. And if you do that, if you cook one or two things every week, you'll quickly find after not that long that you will have a variety of the base piece of the food to pick from. So for example, you make a bunch of chicken, so you had like roasted chicken one day, but then you can take the chicken and cut it off the bone and shred it and make chicken salad, or you can make chicken curry, or, you can do other things with this base piece that's already cooked. So how I got into this was that I really didn't have time to cook a lot. And so on Sundays, this is terrible. I have like these bad stories. So on Sundays, I would put the football game on because I lived in California. I liked watching the 49ers. All right, I liked watching Joe Montana. And he was on the 49ers. And I would cook one or two meals, the base part of the meals. And then again, individually package it and throw it in the freezer. But then during the week, because I would have 5 or 6 different things pre-cooked, I could just reach in and kind of pick and choose what I wanted to eat that week or that evening. My first husband was a bodybuilder, and he liked to eat good, but didn't really have the time. And so he ate weird things like tuna. He ate a lot of tuna because it was easy. And so I would make him plates of food, and he was very picky. But one of the things that I found out is that there are certain Chinette plates, and it's not the really dinky ones, it's a decent sized one that will actually fit into a Ziploc bag. And so I would go and I would give him like a piece of chicken or a piece of pork or whatever, and some kind of like rice or pasta or whatever. Potatoes don't freeze real well. If you cook vegetables, they don't freeze real well. And so I would just take like frozen vegetables and put them on the plate. I would put a pat of butter on the plate. I would take the plate, I would put it in the Ziploc bag. I would seal the bag up and I would stack them in the refrigerator. And so all he had to do was reach in and take a plate and he would have a whole meal. I mean, he didn't have to do anything. And if that's too hard, maybe you can have one home cooked healthy meal a week, something that you actually make. When my kids were growing up, we had Fruit Frenzy. Usually it was on Wednesday in the summer, where I would just get a bunch of fruit and make like a platter of cantaloupe and apples and pears and, whatever looked good, berries, and make this whole platter of fruit. And it would be Fruit Frenzy evening. Or we would have Meatless Monday, where I would make eggs or, some non-meat, although I would put fish into that category because we didn't eat a ton of fish, but into that category. And it was a healthy meal. So I'm just suggesting, become more mindful of what you're eating, because one day is better than no days. And if you can incorporate one day of healthy eating, then down the road, as that becomes part of your practice, then you can perhaps add another one and then add another one. And it's only a matter of time between dieting and exercising and perhaps taking a good multivitamin that you'll start to feel better and be healthier every day. And that's what I have to say for today. Anyway, and my mic's on and I'm like, ooh, all good. Anyway, I'm going to go through my little announcement things and then I'll say hi to people and start doing some readings. So if you like what I have to say and would be interested in scheduling a private consultation with me, please go to my webpage, soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com. It's got tons of articles for you to check out. And I would love for you to say hi. If you are listening to this show in a rerun form, or it is streaming on a platform that does not allow you to enter the chat, the easiest way to join the chat of this show is by going to my YouTube page. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. 3 words, Just Energy Radio. Click the live button at 7 p.m. Central and join the fun and get a free on-air psychic reading. If you're enjoying this programming and would like to, especially if you hang around and you get a reading, and want to give me a little something because you like me and you think that I deserve something, you can scan this QR code. Oh, my little thing didn't come on. Which will take you to my webpage, soulhealer.com/live, which has a shopping cart set up where you can leave me a little tip, which I would so totally love. Or you can go to my PayPal account and send something through that. And that's Rita@soulhealer.com. That's Rita@soulhealer.com. And in the show notes below, let me turn this off. In the show notes below are links to all of my social media, Facebook, Rumble, BitChute, Twitter, whatever. They're down below. And I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my pages, set up notifications, do all of those things that you should do for different social media. I would just really appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go change into the other screen and go say hi to people, and we'll go from there. So Marco's here. Hey, Marco. Marco upvoted. Also upvoted for fabulous hair. Upvote for fab hair, Rita. Marco is psychic. I have to tell everybody, Marco is psychic because he knows I'm going to have good hair before I even start the show. Hi, Master Player Radio and Television. Hope you're doing good. ERRT Radio. I hope you're doing good. This show is also airing live on ERRT Radio. And you guys, if you're listening live, please go to Just Energy Radio on YouTube and you can join the chat and get a free psychic reading while you're hanging out. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you. Christine, I'm sorry, my vision is like going. Nice to see you tonight. Veronica, hey, Veronica. She upvotes Marco's hair. And Marco says, love you more. Hi, Cindy Simpson. Nice to see you. Oh, and again, if you guys are saying something to me or something that you would like for me to say on air, please put it in all capitals so that it catches my attention and I can separate out you guys visiting. There's a lot of you from YouTube on here, which I really appreciate. But so I can separate out who's saying hi to me and who's saying hi to other people in the room. Great. Thank you. Okay. Veronica says, I'm looking good. Margot says, lipstick and hair on point, and I got all the paint out of it too. Yvonne, how's it going? Yvonne says, yoga is best for me and walking. Veronica says, weightlifting and avocado toast. Well, I'm going to tell you, you do a home makeover and you have the ladder and you're up and down the ladder, up and rolling a ceiling. Up and down the ladder. Oh my God. I told my boyfriend I wanted a paint boy. And he was like, a paint boy? I'm like, kind of like a pool boy, but a paint boy that could just stay at the bottom of the ladder and dip the roller in the paint so I didn't have to keep walking up and down, which would be so great. Okay, Yvonne's the first one in the chute, and she would like a reading, and she would like a number 3. Okay, Yvonne. All right, and this is your card for today. Okay, so Yvonne, I get the feeling that there's just a lot been going on, and I'm going to say around you, like, and you're not sure if you should like pay attention to it or not pay attention to it, if it's important, not important, so I'm sensing some confusion with all of this external activity. I'm not really picking up that any of it's bad, but I'm liking, okay, I'm going to say this, I'm liking the fact that you are being an observer to it as opposed to jumping into it and jumping into the middle of it. And if your habit, and I don't know for sure, if your habit is to jump in the middle of it, then good job, because you're just kind of standing back and watching it and having it happen. So this is one of the things that I know for certain. Spirit nags. And so if there's part of you going, well, is this important? And is this something I should do? Spirit nags. If you keep asking the question, well, what should I be doing? Or where should I be going? Or whatever the question is, Spirit will give you the same answer over and over and over and over again ad nauseum. I know that when I graduated from the Berkeley Psychic Institute and I moved to Washington, which meant I couldn't be associated with them because they were in California, I'd ask Spirit, well, what should my next step be? And I kept getting, you need to go back to school. You need to go back to school. And so I got a hypnotherapy certification. I got my Reiki certification. I did some other stuff. And that did not satisfy that you need to go back to school. So finally, I enrolled in a naturopathic medicine program, finished that. I'm like, okay, finish that. Now what? You need to get your PhD and then write a book, which is when I wrote my Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4 book. And after that, they have never, ever suggested I go back to school. So Spirit nags. And so perhaps it's just taking that step back and look at what keeps coming back, what keeps coming back, what keeps coming back, because that's the indicator that it's Spirit, or a better indicator that it's Spirit, not ego. Ego tends to be kind of in a flash, and then it dies down like, I want a piece of cake. And then 10 minutes later, not so much. Spirit's not that way. Nags, nag, 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 nag. Okay. Christine would like a reading. And thank you, you guys, for doing it in capital letters. And she would like a 2. A 2 for Christine. Oh, so let me ask you guys. So I'll divulge. So my niece has a crystal store, and she's really super fun. You think I'm weird? I mean, she's weird. She has her own level of weirdness. And I think the two of us together would be like weird on steroids. Anyway, so I asked her if she would be interested in coming on the show and doing a little opening segment talking about crystals. And then I was thinking that I would have her stay, for the reading part, and maybe she could recommend a crystal that would help shift, mutate, heal, whatever the energy that has to do with the reading. So let me know what you think, because I think it would be really fun. And, I was going to do it before Christmas, so it would be great, like Christmas idea stuff. Anyway, let me know. Capital letters. All right, Christine. Ooh, Christine, yucky card, but sometimes it's not really that yucky. Okay. Christine, did somebody hurt your feelings today, or were your feelings hurt today? I just feel like you just kind of pulled in, um, and I just keep like, I don't like you, and you're just kind of pushing stuff away. And that's okay. Honor that feeling. We can have bad days. We can have days where we hurt. We can have, it's part of life, but use that energy, use that dynamic to see if there's something in you that you need to change, or perhaps what you need to do is to be nicer to yourself, or perhaps what you need to do is to do some mindfulness exercises, breathing, doing yoga, exercising, doing some tapping, whatever that might be, to help you discharge that energy. You might notice that there's a pattern that it's, when this happens, I get upset, or when I'm around this person, I tend to get upset, but use the upset to learn the lesson from it. Okay. All right. Veronica would like a reading. Yes, ma'am. And she just wants a 1. Thank you. All right, and here's your card for today. Well, interesting card, Veronica, and I don't know if this is a permanent shift or where you're at right now, but I feel like I get the impression that you've kind of pulled your energy back. And I'm not feeling like it's in an observer mode, but you're just kind of being more contained. But as you're in the practice of being more contained, it's like I feel like it's been attracting people to you, attracting energy to you. That's all I got, and if this dynamic is making you be more attractive, versus like putting your energy out there and having it be overwhelming for people to deal with, and you just like being chill, and your being chill allows other people to approach. I like it. I like it. I think it's what you've been kind of wanting and kind of looking for. So good. Okay, Christine. ERRT Radio would like a reading number 3, please. Thank you, Dr. Rita. Okay. All right, if I could shuffle today, it would all be good. Okay. Okay, that's your card for today. And Raylan says hi to everybody. He's like down here driving me crazy, and I'm petting him. So ERRT Radio, one of the things that I'm feeling is that, and I feel like you've been kind of on this journey in this process the last few weeks. And not that I really ever remember what I say, but I do remember, vaguely the conversations about you pulling your energy back. And I feel like from that place that you're holding, so congratulations from holding, for being able to hold that space inside of yourself. I feel like you're getting a different level of insight, a more spirit-led insight, and I'm feeling like it is causing you, and I'm going to use this in a very generic way, to learn and grow. and not just personally, but about like business related stuff. I mean, I just feel like information is your no that your connection to spirit and your ability to hear and realize the guidance that you're being offered has clarified a lot more. I hope that makes sense. I'm really enjoying kind of watching this process. So good job. Okay. All right. And again, if this is my reading makes sense, I would love for you to put comments below. You can also, send me a little something, something by going to soulhealer.com/live or PayPal and send it to Rita@soulhealer.com. All right, remove. All right, where was I? No. Yvonne says, Marco says, although not in caps, garbage in, garbage out. I do not put garbage into my body. And then Yvonne says, processed food is poison. Marco doesn't eat red meat. Huh. On my shame on Marie Callender. Oops. Marie Callender was really one of the less offensive of the frozen dinners because I would read the box. But it has changed a lot. All right, let's see. I see cows making veggie burger. Okay. Okay, great question, Cindy. So Cindy's question is, hi, Dr. Rita, how healthy is rice? So in the big picture of things, if given the choice between eating French fries or rice way more healthy. If you think about it, the people in the East, their diet is based on rice, but they live long lives. And they eat white rice. They don't eat brown rice. They tell you to eat the brown rice, but they don't eat the brown rice. And so if given a choice, rice is better than potato. Rice is way better than having like bread or spaghetti or, because that's wheat and it's really ground up and there's not anything for the body to process. It's just kind of straight sugar. Rice is low in, so if you have a lot of allergies, rice for most people is low on the allergenic list. If you have a carb issue, so this is where rice can become a problem. If you tend to be a carb junkie, where you eat a lot of sugar or sweets in your diet, so whether that is, drinking regular sodas, eating candy, eating cookies, or eating carbohydrates, bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, then you can have candida, which the only way to really get rid of the candida is to cut back on the rice. And, because it's a carbohydrate. So you really have to kind of take that into proportion into what you're doing. And, as far as rice, I don't have an issue with rice, especially if you're first starting. But if you have a sugar thing going on and you potentially have candida, then you have to take a second look at the rice as a source of carbohydrates. So I hope that helps. Or asking another question if you have another question. Okay, let me turn that off. That's all that healthy living, Marco. Okay, I eat live food. All right, I'm just scrolling because you guys are all chit-chatting here. Oh, hurrah! Hey, girl. Okay, hello, Dr. Rita. Thanks for talking about essential matters. May I have a reading, please? Number 3, thank you, and cheers to you. Cheers to you. Okay, so I'm jumping ahead while I'm shuffling. So Veronica put, I started taking creatine for muscles. It's like, Veronica, if you want muscles, you should have been coming over to my house and working every day. And then you'd have like little muscles like me. And I get free labor, which is good with me every day. Okay, Uhura. Ooh, nice card. There's your card for today. Okay. So, Ahura, what I got right away is that, and I'm going to say Spirit is asking you to, I'm going to say, take a leap of faith to move forward into something that is a bit new and unfamiliar to you, or something that you're afraid of. But I'm feeling like it's more new and unfamiliar than you're afraid, although there is fear tied to it, that you're like, well, I don't know if this is a good idea, and I don't know if I should take this step. And they are being extremely clear with me that yes, you should. Now, do you do it and go slowly? That's a great idea. But this thing that you're kind of being prompted to do, they're suggesting, well, they're not suggesting, they're telling me to tell you that it's them telling you that you should go do it. So I hope that makes sense. Again, if my reading makes sense to you, please put your comments down below. I always love hearing back. Okay. Okay, Julie would like a reading number 2. Thank you for the reminder of diet and exercise. You are so welcome. And I try not to be political on this show because I have a whole political commentary that could go with it, with about a certain person that was running for office who is not, who has really started to bring forward, the role of chemicals and pharmaceuticals in our lives and how it creates ill health. And so that's what kind of like spurred this topic on, at about 3:00 this afternoon. Okay, and I'm just mixing away. So, Julie, I'm going to do one more, and then I'll pull your card. Okay, and here's your card for today. Interesting. It's just inside my body. It's just been very interesting, because I look at the picture, it's sometimes the picture like tells me what to say, but today it's kind of like there's the picture, but then it's taking me to this kind of offset topic. So, Julie, I feel like there is something that you have recently resolved or has been resolved. I feel like you internally, maybe in a bigger way, are kind of sighing a breath of relief, that this no longer has to be on your plate. I feel like it is making you happy to have it just be done with, but in a really good, nurturing way for you. So I don't know what it is, but I just am feeling like, you're having the opportunity to just relax a little bit and be like, oh, that's good. And you know what? That's good. Okay. All right. Dumb old mask card. It's going on the bottom. Okay. Okay. Oh, saw that already. Okay. Hey, Cindy. Reading 1, please. Thank you. Okay, and I'm just kind of like looking down a little bit. So I saw what Yvonne put. She said, very helpful. Thank you. But not in caps. Not in caps. Okay, back to Cindy, number 1. Oh. Ooh, okay, Cindy, you got a mask card. And I am just going to pull. Not good. Okay. So I'm going down. So there was 1, 2, 3, another mass card, and then, well, that was 4, and this was 5, and I feel like the energy shifts here. So for anybody that's new, a mass card, when they show up for me, usually indicates that there's something you don't want to look at, there's something you're in denial about, you know, that there's something hidden going on. And what I like to do is to pull cards until I feel like the energy shifts, because usually how the energy shifts is what you need to do to kind of resolve the blockage in the first place. You know, so Julie, you know, what you're showing me, or Cindy, what you're, all right, hang on a second. Okay, all right. What I'm feeling is that your energy is seeming kind of stuck. I feel like you're kind of in a I'm beating myself up a little bit kind of place. I feel like the more you try shifting the energy, kind of the worse it's getting. You know, and sometimes it's just better to go, I have bad brain and this kind of sucks, and just have that be what it is, that, you know, and not really trying to fix it. Sometimes we just have to let it do what it's going to do. You know, even sitting there and using it to figure out what the lesson is, you know, when everything is disturbed and upset, it doesn't make it better. You know, breathing makes it better. Moving on to other things makes it better. Giving yourself permission to be in that place tends to make it be better, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm in this space and what do I need to do to fix it? You know, sometimes we're just there, and it's the effort of trying to change it that embeds it more. And so just let it be. You know, sometimes, you know, we have a day and we just want to cry, and, you know, we try so hard because we don't want to feel bad, and we try and we try and we try, versus just letting ourselves cry and just feel crappy and owning it's like, well, yeah, I feel crappy and that's okay, but tomorrow is going to be another day and it'll be better. So I'm hoping that tomorrow is a better day for you and that you feel better. Okay. Oh, it's Debbie. Debbie, she made it. Debbie wants number 2. Okay. Maybe we'll get a cat reading. Okay. Okay, and this is your card for today. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of talk about this in a weird way at first. You know, so, oh, but wait, there is a little cat in the picture. Just saying, maybe it's Scraps. Anyway, all right, so I'm feeling like there's a lot of crap going on at work. I feel like you're like, can I retire now? Thing going on. You know, and I'm going to say this out loud, you know, that there has been some consideration of perhaps going somewhere else because it's just making you crazy. You know, and I'm going to say it, you know, but maybe that's something you should consider, you know, or perhaps you could, I don't know, take a couple of classes and get some other certification that would move you out of what you're doing, but make it so that you make more money. I don't know. I just am feeling like you're ready for a shift, and I'm feeling like you're ready for a shift surrounding work. You know, but what that answer would be, I don't know. But I don't get the impression that this is the first time it's come up. I feel like this is the first time that it's really been like in your brain as for, like as this thing. And I'm not saying like, quit tomorrow. I'm just saying that maybe the universe is planting a seed for you so that you can bring in more happiness in your life. Again, I'm not saying it's a today or tomorrow thing, but perhaps it's something to investigate and explore so that, down the road, not that far, it's something that you can move into. I hope that makes sense. And Raylan says, oh no, it's the hair lady. Okay, so Dawn, I don't know that I gave you a reading, but you put that would be interesting at best. Yes, it would. So Cindy says, wow, that would be an awesome show with your niece. Okay, I talked to her about that yesterday, so that would be cool. Christine says, thank you, that makes sense. ERRT Radio says, wow, always right on. Thank you, Dr. Rita. You're welcome. Veronica says, not sure what to think about that reading. I feel kind of depressed this PM, actually. Seeing if I remember. Oh, but that's right. That's what I talked about. But I can see how it would attract people. And Veronica, what I was feeling was your energy was reserved versus, hey, people. It's like, I'm Veronica. Oh, you want to be my friend? Well, let me see. Do I want to be your friend? Which is just a very different vibe. I mean, because we project our energy out there and people pick that up. And so maybe what they're showing me is that by you keeping it back, oh, it's not Nina. What's the girl that, all right, y'all know, the girl who would come in here, and she's probably here, every week and want to know about some different guy and some different guy and some different guy. And I would tell her, you got to pull your energy back because you're just chasing them all away. And Veronica, I'm not saying you're chasing them all away, but kind of. I mean, not in the same way, not as overwhelming as her energy was. But I know that you want good people to come into your life. And so maybe this is the magnet or a more refined magnet to have that happen. Oh, Master Player, I'm sorry. I did not mean to skip you. I did not see you there, but I will do you right now. Number 3. Maybe you didn't do it in all capitals. I mean, there's just been a lot of chit chat going on. It's hard to read it all. Okay, so here's your card for today. So, Master Player, have you been feeling, and I'm going to say all alone today, recently, I'm trying to think of the right words, alone, kind of abandoned, but not abandoned. You don't really have anybody on your side. Yeah, that. And the feeling that I'm getting, and I just want to say this part out loud, is I do feel like there are people around you. I feel that there are people that love you, and it's almost like your trauma speaking, like some old program has been triggered and has come to the surface. And I just want to acknowledge that and have you look at that, pay attention to that, because that belief is not true. So I hope that helps. I hope that kind of gives you a little different perspective on what you're feeling right now. So, all right. So Veronica says, I will come over and work. Girl, I've been working on this for a year. You could have come over every day and had like one-on-one Dr. Rita time while you're like scraping paint or doing some crappy job. Hey, Pat. Okay. Dawn, why are you out of here? It's live. Okay. You didn't ask for a reading. All right. Pat would like number 3. All right. Oops. Pat, you got a mask card, but it cleared right behind it. So that's good. Okay, this is a kind of easy one. Pat, I get the impression that there's somebody that you have been around lately, that you've been interacting with lately. You know, I want to say it's a kid. I mean, it kind of has a kid energy to it, that is drawing you into their drama. And I would like for you to just kind of take a step back and nurture yourself, because you don't need to be sucked into something that you can't solve and that you can't fix. And breathe. You know, people create things in their lives so that they can either learn how to fix it, you know, and deal with the consequences of their decisions. Because if they made a bad decision, they made a bad decision. And, you know, the only way you can learn is to deal with the consequences. You know, and I really do come from like the tough love viewpoint of the world. It's like, the only way you're going to figure it out is if you figure it out. So it's not yours to figure out. So just breathe and take care of yourself. So Cindy said, thank you so much on explaining my rice. You are so welcome. And Dawn says, guess this isn't live. I'm out of here. I don't know what Dawn's talking about. A horse says your reading was accurate. Thank you. Cheers. Well, Dawn, you didn't ask for a reading. You didn't give a number, and you were going to be my last one for today, Dawn. And I'm going to give you a 3. And I see further down there's Nancy, but I'm probably not going to get to Nancy. But hi, Nancy. Okay. Dang, what's with the mask cards today? Oh, same card, but this came up right after it. So I'm going to give you this. So a double mask and then this card. All right. So Dawn, I get the impression that there is a choice you are being challenged to make. And I'm going to say right now, you're having to kind of separate out the wheat from the chaff. And I get the impression that you're really not liking it. Like you're not liking the choice you have to make, or you're not liking the activity of separating out what's good for you, what's not good for you. I don't know. I just am sensing a little bit of crankiness there. You know, but I talk about this on the show all the time. You know, if you just accept that this is what it is and this is what I need to walk through and surrender to it, you know, then it won't be as annoying or infuriating as it might seem on the surface. Sometimes, you know, we do things that we really don't want to do. And it is only by surrendering to it and saying, okay, I'm just going to do this, that we can move through it and learn the lesson or have it be done and get it off our plate. Because if it sits on our plate and we procrastinate about it, then it just sits there forever and it drives us crazy. And then we're crazy. Then we're crazy, I tell you. Okay. All right. So Julie says, yes, I'm able to relax a little bit. You are spot on. Okay. Nancy said hello. And Cindy says, thank you, Dr. Rita. I have issues trying to stay in focus due to fibromyalgia. I'm sorry to hear that, Cindy. Yes, your niece and crystals. Anthony, you came so late and I'm getting ready. Actually, I should have already said hi, but I'm saying hi now. Hi, Anthony. Thanks for coming. Come earlier. All right. Okay, everybody. I see that there's a few people that have just come in. Oh my God, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, come earlier because I'm going now. I'm going now. So if you guys enjoy the work that I'm doing here and need to get information on a deeper level than you get from these little mini card readings, please reach out to me by going to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and drop me a note. I would love to help you. Again, if you're going to be tuning into the show next week, the best way to interact with me is by going to my YouTube channel and going to Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. You know, if you've gotten a reading or you are just enjoying the programming and you want to like help a girl out, you can go to my webpage, soulhealer.com/live. That's soulhealer.com/live, and leave a little something in the shopping cart. Or you can go to PayPal and send something to Rita at soulhealer.com. That's Rita at soulhealer.com. Anyway, guys, great show tonight. I am so happy to be here with you every week. You know, one day I'll actually be able to say next week I'm going to talk about this, but I never know. So until then, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Till next week, be blessed.